Go.
Regulating our top thread to our bobbin thread. First, what we would do is we'd go ahead and do a needle up to bring our bobbin thread in the up position, and where our top thread is underneath the presser foot. I don't have the material onto the frame. I'm just going to go ahead and move it manually in this position just for demonstration purposes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and put the machine in manual mode just so that we can show you how we're going to adjust our top tension, because we just previously showed you how to set the bobbin tension. It is now correct. So we're going to go ahead and start working with the top tension to set our stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the machine on. And I'll just go ahead and just run the machine as if it was stitching, but I'm just going to go ahead and manually run the stitch. And we'll stop that. I'm going to go ahead and lift the presser foot so that releases the tension on the thread. I'm going to go ahead and cut the thread. And I'm going to show you the stitch. I've got a good top stitch and I've got a good bobbin stitch. There's no loopies or any irregular stitch on the bottom side. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to loosen this tension up to get it all out of whack here. So at this point I'm just going to go ahead and just take that and just turn it quite a few turns just so that I know that I'm out of tension and that it will be nice and loose, and then we'll be able to see what kind of stitches we get on the bottom side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed the machine up just a little bit more this time, and I'm going to just go ahead and start it, and we'll do the same thing. And I'm just kind of just doing a meandering stitch. I stopped it, lift the presser foot up, bring it out to where I can cut the threads. And now, if we'll zoom into the camera, we can actually see where we've actually got our pokies on the bottom side. This is a bad stitch. So what that's telling me is that this is my top. My top tension is way too loose. So we need to go ahead and adjust that tension. So as we pan the camera back onto here, I use these as references only. One of the biggest problems that we have on the quilting machine is most of our quilters come in and they're used to just turning the dial from maybe 3 to 4, very little. The quilting machine, the only way we're going to start seeing action is if we actually turn it one full turn. And oftentimes we may have to turn it 2 full turns before we see any type of reaction on the top thread coming into the bottom. So I turned it 2 full turns. Now let's see what we get on the bobbin side. So I'm going to go ahead and lower my presser foot. I'm going to go ahead and start the stitch again. Again, I'm moving the fabric just so that we can kind of just demonstrate what we're doing here. Lifting the presser foot so that it releases both the top thread so that we can pull this out. And now we'll go ahead and zoom this picture in, and we can see where we've now actually gone ahead and drawn that stitch right into where it really looks really good. I probably could go ahead and tighten that one more full turn. So for me, I'm going to tighten it up one more time. So I'm going to go up here to the number 3, and I'm actually going to take and turn that one full turn. And we'll go back. And again, we'll go ahead and do some stitching. Lift the presser foot up, cut the thread, and now when we look at that stitch, we have no more loopies on the bottom side. It is actually on the top and the bottom, we actually have good stitches. One of the biggest things that we find on the quilting machine, again, is they're so used to just barely turning this thread guide here, or the tension guide. We need to make sure we're getting used to turning this one full turn. Once we get it into where we're really close, then you can do smaller adjustments. But don't be afraid to turn this one full turn at a time.